everyone, and welcome to the True Life of Courtney. I am Courtney, and I am here with the first conversation in True Life Conversations. I created this segment on my blog to have conversations that we often don't want to have, to talk about things that may be difficult and hard to talk about, but things that are needed to have conversations around. And so with me creating this segment on the blog, I am hoping that this creates a space for us to come together, to speak our truth, to heal, to grow, to evolve, and then to also inspire the next person to do the same. And so today I am super excited to have one of my friends with me. She is not a stranger. If you followed the blog back in 2018, you probably recognize her face. My friend Danielle is here with me today, and I'm going to read her bio and introduce her. So Danielle Smith is her name. She is a licensed clinical social work associate in the state of North Carolina. She received her bachelor's in psychology from Spelman and her master's from the University of Alabama. That's where we met, in social work. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Danielle is a certified she's certified in family-centered therapy, trauma-focused cognitive behavior therapy, and she's also a certified holistic healer. She takes the approach with her clients that they are the expert in their own lives. And she only is there to guide them, to offer a new perspective, and challenge them to grow. And that is what all good therapists should do. If your therapist is telling you what you need to do and how you need to do it, you probably need to find another therapist. But she has so many gifts. She is an amazing friend, and I am really excited to have her here with me today. And she's actually going to kick us off by sharing one of her many gifts with us. So I'm going to kick it to you, Danielle. Tell us a little bit more about this holistic healing and what you're going to bless us with today to set the mood for this conversation.
Oh, the pressure. Holistic healing is really interesting. I started doing these things for myself. So I'm into yoga and sound meditations. That's how I was going to sleep. Like, let me put on the sound playlist. And then I just happened to find the academy. So the Holistic Academy with one of my Spelman sisters, Linnea Smith. Y'all know y'all can find her. Y'all can join the academy if you're interested. But I found it and it just felt like a good fit. And for me, the program gave me the permission to connect my personal life to my professional life, for me to show up with all of my values and not have to compartmentalize myself and parts of me. So I started, my journey. And one of the certifications I got was sound healing. So I'm gonna try to get you all. Oh, you have to see all the bowls. Look at there. Most of them anyway. And so I have a color set. Not all the bowls come in colors, but I have the set that represents each of the 7 chakras. We all have many chakras in our bodies, but we have 7 main chakras that go up and down. Some people start from the top, some people start from the bottom. I personally start from the bottom. So the first one is the red. It is the root chakra. So all things, I am grounded, I am rooted, I am calm, I am safe. Next up is orange, the sacral, and it is the seat of emotions and creativity. It is, where all of our feminine organs are, so which makes sense, right? Birthing new things. And then we have the solar plexus, which is mid-stomach, all things self-love, self-confidence, self-esteem. Green, it's kind of hidden a little bit. Green is the heart, all things relationships, right? Compassion, kindness, love. And then we have blue, which is the throat chakra, self-expression, communication. Indigo is our third eye right here in between our eyebrows. It is intuition. being connected, being guided. And then we have the crown, which is spirituality, being connected to the divine. So each one is connected, like I said, up and down our body. They're connected to different organs in our body as well, and have different effects. So I'm going to play a little bit. today's title, I play solar plexus, root, and third eye the most. Because believing is hard, but being grounded, being grounded and rooted in calmness and stillness, balancing out your belief in yourself, your confidence, your self-love, and tapping into your intuition, because everything that you need, everything that you know is already in you. Just follow your intuition and be with that.
Yes. Sound bath. um so I was feeling very anxious before we started recording. Mm-hmm. And I kind of felt some of the anxiety like leave my body as I was listening. And it was very interesting. I don't know if y'all noticed, but I had my eyes closed. And when I opened my eyes, because I felt the vibration in my throat. And so I opened my eyes because I was like, is she playing the throat chakra right now? And you were. And it's like, okay. So I don't know what that means. Is that like an opening of
activation? Like, because our chakras can be imbalanced, they can be blocked, and so you can have too much, too little, or it can just be locked where nothing is coming through at all. And so it just depends on like where you are. When I do sound baths, especially like in my therapy sessions or for private sessions, I tap into like, where are you individually, so that I know what to play and what makes sense. Sometimes I don't always know, but spirit comes through for me and guides me.
Spirit always comes through.
Yeah. So yeah, it just depends on where you are. So it was definitely activated if you felt the vibrations.
Yeah, I definitely did. I was like, whoa, okay. Let me open my eyes.
Every time I play, I get hot. So I felt my temperature going up as I was playing.
Awesome. And so if this is like new to somebody, like if they've never had a sound bath before or heard a sound bath before, I guess like, can you tell people why it's a meditation, but like why, I guess, what's the benefits of it? I mean, for me, I can say I felt, like I just said, I felt like the anxiety go away as I was listening, but what are some of the benefits of like participating in a sound bath?
I feel like if it's for you, it's for you. Like if it's for you, then you're drawn to it because it's not the same for each person. Right. Some people is meditation, some people is like physically healing for them. Like they do it because there's an ailment in their body. Some people, I use it in my therapy session. So mental health, like it just depends on each person on why you're drawn to it.
Right. Awesome. And so can you do these sessions virtually?
I can.
Okay. Y'all
follow my page.
Tell them your page. What is it?
Community Cultivator on Instagram.
Community Cultivator. Yes. Awesome. So let's just hop right into today's topic. Oh, before we do, I do have 3 rules with True Life Conversations. Okay. The first rule is that you do it anyway. I know that these conversations can be tough. They can bring on fear. They can bring on anxiety. And so I just ask that you push through. You do it anyway. You speak your truth. Secondly, that you be true to yourself. So of course, be real, keep it authentic. That's simple. And then the last one, have fun. So can you deal with those 3 rules as we talk today?
So I'll show up in life, I feel like. So I got you.
All right. So I'm going to start today's conversation. I feel like in the way Spirit wanted me to start it, because I went to get some tea, y'all, before we started talking. And I looked down at the little tea bag. What you call these little things? A little quote on the tea bag. And it says, "The world needs your unique gifts. Don't leave with them still inside of you." And we're talking about how believing is hard. Believing in yourself is hard. And I was like, wow, this is like right on topic. Like the world needs your unique gifts. And I feel as though we're both in a place where we have identified what those gifts are, some of those gifts, because I feel like
I'm still learning, but yeah.
I'm still learning. New stuff is coming to me when I feel like, oh, I have all of my gifts, and then something else comes. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we're in a place where we have an idea of what some of those gifts are that God, spirit, whoever you believe in, has blessed us with. And even with that knowing, it can be extremely challenging to pursue those things, to create it, to birth it, to make it your reality. And so I guess we can kick off this conversation really just highlighting, I guess let's start first with what are your unique gifts? What do you think your gifts are?
This is like spirit be on it. Well, I literally have been, tapping into a gift, right? And I wrote it on my sticky note this morning for my affirmation door.
Oh, wow.
And I hadn't put it on my sticky notes yet. And my affirmation is, my energy is my gift.
Oh, yes.
Um,
my energy is my gift.
It's my gift. Yeah, that's how I ended up being the community cultivator. So in one of my last sessions with the academy, we were talking about our niche and our programs and like what we wanted to do with all the things that we learned over the course of 6 months. And I was just like, I'm a lighthouse and I help heal people. And they were like, Danielle, like you just show up as yourself. Like that is the gift. And I was like, it was like you provide community. And then that's how I birthed the community cultivator, because I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Like I honestly believe in being my most authentic self, and I show up that way regardless. Like grad school, undergrad, I was in class, me, and I do it so like effortlessly, and I don't pay attention to it, that I didn't even know that's what I was doing. And so, and then I was in another space and somebody said the same thing. And I was like, okay, this is a thing. And I don't know what happened this morning. I've been going through this since July, and I hadn't added it to my sticky note wall yet until this morning.
Wow. I will say that's something that I have always appreciated about you, is like you are your authentic self. And I met you during a time where I felt as though I didn't know who I was. And I saw you like operating in your authentic self. And I was like, dang, like this is possible. Like I need to figure out who I am. And so you have definitely inspired me to really define like what is being my authentic self,
And I'm gonna challenge you. I don't really like that word, defining I'm creating my
creating.
Yeah. Like I don't like to say defining, because that says like we're restricted, right? We're putting limitations on that. I'm creating that, and that's ever evolving. Like what I create today may be different than what I create 6 months from now, but it doesn't mean it's not me. And so kind of taking the word define off of that, because that's still putting ourselves in this box and limitations.
Right. Let me write that down. Creating
my authentic self. Yeah. Awesome. And it's interesting, as you say, you were like trying to figure out who you were and create, that version of yourself. When I'm kind of doing the same thing, but in the opposite way. Like I'm doing it, but I'm creating it like mentally, I guess. Like I'm becoming more aware of what I was already doing.
Oh yeah. That makes sense.
I didn't know. Just doing it. Just showing up.
You were just existing. And now you're like figuring out what that really...
Yeah, I'm connecting the dots like, oh, that's what I was doing that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think if I have to answer that question for myself, I think my compassion is my gift. I feel as though I'm a very compassionate person, and I have this ability to see both sides of things. And so being able to bring that perspective in the conversations and to people to kind of help them enlighten themselves on, other possibilities and in other realms out there. And also being a healer, I relate with that topic as well. I recently created a tarot channel where I was trying to decide, like, how do I want to put this out here? How do I want to say it? And I just kept hearing intuitive healer. Like, I feel like God gave me a very strong intuition, and to use my intuition to help other people heal. And so that's my authentic gift. And I've been able to, like, identify that, but even operating in that is still hard.
Yeah, it's extremely hard.
It's extremely hard.
My energy is my gift, but I still question, like, I have to have a wall of sticky notes, right? Like, I believe in positive self-talk and positive affirmations. So I have 20 of them at least on my door, because although I know that my energy is a gift, I still have to nurture that, right? I have to water it and nurture it, and make sure that it continues to grow as I continue to evolve and stand in it. Really, like, grounding is really, really important. Being able to not waver in all the things that life brings and gives and takes and does, and all the above.
I feel like that was a lot right there. So let's unpack it. Because one, like this, we have to constantly affirm ourselves. I think that's a big piece. And so I too have sticky notes in my bedroom. And as different things come up in my life, I'll add a sticky note. And so I have things on there that really motivate me to step. Is it step it to what? How do I want to say it? Huh?
To embrace it.
Yeah, I mean, to embrace. I think what I'm trying to say is I have sticky notes that just encourage me to do the things that I know I should be doing. So I guess that is embracing it. Like, yeah.
It's embracing it, because like you said with when I played the third eye, right? Like, we already know. You said you're an intuitive healer. You already know. But the world that we live in, we start to second guess ourselves, comparison, second guessing yourself, like the way, you were brought up, maybe be different than what you believe as an adult. Like, there are so many things and factors that make us question our gut, our intuition, our guides, our ancestors, our spirits, like all the things.
Mm-hmm. Which brings me to another piece that I wanted to unpack about what you just said, is the grounding. Okay. So we have to affirm ourselves, speak that encouragement, but how do you stay grounded in believing in yourself? Well, first, how do you even get grounded in it? And then you have to stay grounded once you get grounded.
How do you get grounded? I'm probably going to keep saying this, but it's to each his own, right? I like to go for walks. I like to go hiking. I like to listen to sound bowls. They have them on like Apple Music and stuff. I just started playing them, and I don't play them for myself. I mean, I do, but I don't. But I listen to it on like Apple Music going to sleep. Going to therapy is grounding for me. Like, it depends on the day. It's what's gonna work best for me for that day to stay grounded. Right. I may just burn some sage. I may list what I'm grateful for. I've been trying to be more intentional about how I start my mornings. And so instead of going straight to social media, I watch an empowering video on YouTube, or I listen to a song that makes me feel empowered. It depends on the day.
Yeah, I also have a playlist of like songs that keep me motivated. And in the mornings, I'll play that while I'm fixing my breakfast and making some tea. And so that kind of,
even before you do that, like I do it while I'm just laying in the bed before I even get busy, right? Because you're trying to get grounded while you're doing something.
But it's something that makes me happy. Like, I like to cook. So taking that moment to like cook my breakfast and listen to my music, I feel like it's a whole process of just like setting the tone for my day. I also like to be by water. Like, that really grounds me. I will just
showering in the dark is grounding for me.
Showering in the dark? I'm gonna have to try that. I will say I used to have this little strobe light thing that had like multicolors. I had it from the pageant, and then I just brought it in my apartment, and I started using it. And so I would shower with those lights and have music, and I like that. It's like a release as well.
I don't even play music sometimes, so I just literally like, and I get a lot of downloads, and like it's calming for me and let my thoughts just ease out. I'm not like pressured into meditation or anything. It's a simple meditation, I guess, because it is a meditation for me.
Yeah. So. Another thing that's coming to my mind is just being in silence. Like I drive in silence a lot, and that gives me an opportunity to like ground for the day or reflect on what has happened if I'm on my way home. And so creating a space that's quiet enough to hear your own thoughts is very important when it comes to staying grounded. So
yeah, I definitely will sit in my house like that. You know, since I got my little fairy lights and I changed my room, I will sit in there quiet all day.
Yeah, the lights really help y'all. And I used to, I had them when we were in Alabama. I had the lights above my bed, and I really it was a vibe.
It was a vibe.
It was a vibe. And so when I moved in this apartment, I didn't put the lights back up because I was like, oh, I'm 30 now. I should not have lights above my bed. I was like, man, forget that. I got lights up now. So
first thing I do, turn the lights on.
Yeah.
I would say though, like I would challenge you, like get your playlist, right? Listen to the first song. If the song is 3 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever, listen to the first song while you're just laying in the bed, and then get up and listen to the rest of it as you start the day. It's something about just the stillness versus doing it while you're busy.
Okay, let me make a note.
It's a different, so not that you can't still listen to the same playlist while you're cooking breakfast, because I cook breakfast every morning too. Like that's the thing, like I need to eat. But like just literally laying in your bed and like listening to whatever it is and then getting up to start your day, it's different.
Got it. I'm gonna try it. I'll let you know how it goes. Okay. All right, so we affirm ourselves, we get grounded, and I guess before we get into that, let's go back. So what is your story with like believing in yourself? So you started that face you just made. You started your yoga trainings and sound bath trainings and all of this stuff that you're doing. And like at what point you're like, I believe in myself, I'm going to start this. Like what was your journey with it? Was it an easy journey?
My journey in believing in myself has been in reverse, I guess. Like I never had an issue in believing in myself.
I wrote that too. Go ahead.
Like I think I started off just like in all of like it was nothing fazed me. And then the older I get, the more that I start to really have to get these affirmations, have a foundation in order to maintain it. I've been reflecting on it. I think messages you get from other people, relationships that end, changes. I move a lot. I live in North Carolina. This is my 5th state. So like just moving a lot, being in different spaces. I've had a journey with becoming fully licensed, which I submitted my paperwork. So, fingers crossed.
It's done. It's done.
With that journey, I had to take my test 4 times before I passed. And so all of those things changed and altered my ability to believe in myself. And so I started off really strong in it. I remember being in like high school, like being younger, right? And people like, oh, you're bossy. Oh my goodness, you're conceited. Oh, you're this. And I'm just like, no, I just know. Why can't I be confident? Like now I'm looking back on it like, dang, why can't nobody just say, oh, you're a really confident young lady? Why did I have to be conceited? And like, why? But
because they were insecure. Like, if we being completely honest, it's rooted in other people's insecurities. People are threatened by people who let their light shine and walk in confidence. And
yeah, they are. I remember I had a job. one of the jobs, I changed jobs a lot too. So one of the jobs I started, and it was FCT. I was already certified, and I started at a different company, and I came in and they were still trying to get certified. And I came in my true self, like, oh no, you need to do it like this. Oh, this how you do it. Oh, when I did it like this, like being a part of the team. And they were real snappy towards me. They did not like me. And then one day, one of the girls was like, Danielle, I need to apologize to you. Like, I really thought you was a bitch. Like, I didn't like you. And it really was my own stuff. Like, you know your shit. And I was like, oh, I didn't, thank you. Like, I didn't know. I didn't take no offense to it, but they were like really crappy towards me. They had an attitude, but it's just because I showed up in the room as myself. I didn't do anything. I didn't put anybody down. I just showed up as myself. And they did not like that.
Yeah. I've had similar experiences. And it's really hard to navigate too. For me, I would say, I don't know about for you, because I have a tendency to like quiet myself when I feel as though myself is like bothering other people. And I have to stop dimming my light because other people are uncomfortable by it, or so that has definitely been a struggle for me.
The more aware I become is when I have found myself silencing myself.
What do you mean more aware?
Like tapping into sound and getting certified. Like the more I'm like walking in my purpose, right? Walking in all the things that I'm supposed to do, is now I question myself. Before I did.
Oh, we are the complete opposite on that, because I feel like the more that I'm connecting, I am speaking my truth more, and I'm saying how I feel more, and I feel freer now versus before I would quiet myself a lot.
I am not saying everything.
Why not?
I literally before we got on this call, just had a conversation, and my cousin was like, I need vulnerable Danielle back. Like, send the message, say what you got to say. And I was like, oh, I'm good.
But why? Why are you good? You have never been a person to hold back their tongue. Not with me. So
I don't really know what it's about right now. I don't know, but you know, that throat chakra, I'm balancing it out.
Man, the throat chakra. Whew.
I'm balancing it out. But yeah, it's opposite for me. I've never felt that before. I remember going to Spelman and my mom was like, you know, I couldn't afford it, right? So she's like, what you doing? I'm like, packing my bags. But how you gonna pay for school? I said, I don't know, God got it. Come on. Quit being smart. And I'm like, I'm super serious right now though. Like, drop me off, sis. I don't know. It's gonna work itself out. Like that energy, I don't know where she went.
Do you believe it's like the pressure of the responsibility we have now? Because with my gifts, I feel like I have a responsibility to like bring that to the world. Like I have a responsibility to put that out there, and it creates another level of pressure on myself where I feel like that pressure can be limiting. Because going back to what you said, I feel like I believe in myself.
Yeah.
I believe in myself. Yeah. You know, it's just like,
it's deeper than that though, right?
Yes. And I think that pressure is what's limiting to me.
I've always been the person that puts the pressure on myself. I don't think it's pressure for me. Honestly, I think I'm hurt. I think my feelings have just been hurt. And what I've viewed as rejection from friendships and jobs and the board, because again, I'm still trying to get fully licensed. I think just all the things that I have perceived as rejection is what is making me question or hesitate or silence my voice.
So you have a fear of rejection.
And it's weird because I do, but I don't. Like,
it creates a little anxiety.
I feel really hesitant. It's like what's the saying? Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Like, you already hurt me. Why would I put myself out there again? And so then, but then if it's, and it was a lot back to back. So if all of these people have an issue, or if is me, like I'm not being well received in these spaces, one, I either need to get rid of the people that's in the spaces, or I need to reevaluate, is it me? If it's in all of these situations, which I know it's not, I think it's just growing pains, right? And people have to learn to adapt and to evolve, let go, move on, grow, all the things. So I think I'm just nursing a little, I guess, a little broken heart, a little hurt. But I feel more free now that I've been acknowledging it. Like I acknowledged, like, dang, I was hurt. And it was the first time I did that in a year. I never said it. Like I never was like, dang, that hurt my feelings. I was like, oh, I'm good, and kept going. But I had to acknowledge it. And that's why I say a lot, especially to my clients and my life, to my friends, honor your feelings. Like that's a real thing.
You would? Honor your feelings.
Mm-hmm. Because when you don't, that's when you have this ripple effect of all these things come up for you. And so because I didn't honor my feelings 2 years ago, now 2 years later, I'm like, oh, dang, how to deal with that. And that's a factor in why I don't believe in my voice, or why I think I'm too much, or why. And that it really comes back to my inner child. It's really not that fear of rejection. It's just like inner child of like being good enough. And she shows up for me a lot. So not as much as she used to, not as large as she used to, but she does still show up.
Inner child work. So when I was reflecting on this topic of believing in ourselves and how believing is hard, one of the first things that came to me was like, okay, so how does this connect back to my inner child? Because we know that a lot of the ways we act and respond to things and the way we feel in our adult lives really connect to childhood experiences. And so I was reflecting and I was like, so when was the first time I didn't believe in myself? And so I was thinking back, and it immediately brought me to middle school.
Okay.
When I tried.
My girl 13 too, girl. She
13. I feel like I was in 6th grade, so maybe 11. 12 or 11. But I wanted to play basketball because my dad is a basketball, like he was really good at basketball, like really good. And so he didn't have any boys. And so I just kind of felt like, I got to be the one to, live this dream out for my dad or whatever. And I sucked. I sucked at basketball. And I remember just like getting to a point where I was going through the motions, but I wasn't like putting, I didn't believe in myself. So I was like going through the motions to like fulfill this outside, desire to please somebody else outside of myself.
I'll say, let's start there.
Yeah. To please somebody else outside of myself. And it really like messed up my view in myself, because I was like, I can't do this. But I really wasn't trying because I wasn't doing it for myself. So I was having that like constant internal battle, and then also didn't have anyone that I could like talk about this with, because I can't go tell my dad that I don't want to play basketball because this is his dream. So it was a big moment for me. And it wasn't until I was sitting down like reflecting about this conversation that I realized like, dang, that was the first time that I really had a trouble with like believing in myself, but it was rooted in the fact that I was trying to do this for somebody else. I wasn't doing it for myself. So I don't know, therapists tell me.
Well, we friends. So my first thought was really going back to you pleasing everybody else around you. You know,
I am a people pleaser.
That's your thing.
Hello, my name is Courtney, and I am a people pleaser.
Yeah. First memory of not, but again, this is happening to me in late 20s, early 30s, like that I haven't, and it's not even, I know I can do it. It's, for me, perfectionism, right? Back to being, this has to be good enough. It has to be perfect. It has to be, and me setting a timeline. When I set a timeline for something and it doesn't happen, that takes me out. Mm-hmm. So trying to control it, trying to
like what though? What am I being too personal? You can tell me that too. But what you put on the timeline?
I put everything on the time, like, oh, I'm gonna be married at 30. I'm gonna be a homeowner at 30. Okay, by 32, I'm gonna start having kids. Like, oh, okay. It takes 2 years to get fully licensed. Okay, I'm gonna take my test. I'm gonna get my test. I'm gonna pass it, and then I'm gonna get all my hours. I'm gonna be done in 2 years. I'm on year 6. Like, all of these things that I've had, like, by a time frame, have not happened that way. And that also was devastating for me because life just came easy for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to Spelman. All right. I made it. Like, everybody was like, oh, yeah. Okay. Even my first year was like, oh, we got to look into another school because we can't afford this. No, I'm going to keep coming back. I got it. It's going to work out. So, like, things just were always, I never put any thought to it. So maybe I was a great manifester before I knew what manifesting was, but it just came with ease. So then when I started putting more effort, like, okay, I'm gonna have this at this time, then it didn't happen that way. And so then that made me like, dang, well, how is it supposed to happen? It's supposed to be something else? Is it, well, maybe I wasn't right. Maybe, okay, let me try again. Maybe I just don't want to buy a house. Like, I literally had that conversation the other day. My friend was like, yeah, you saw Bank of America program? I was like, yeah. I saw people posting about it. She was like, did you look into it? No. Why not? You was trying to get a house. I don't think I want that right now. Mm-hmm. But why? Because it wasn't as easy, or didn't, like, why not? I just hadn't, I thought about it. And I was obsessed over it. Like, the whole
you were
obsessed.
Do you think you're just surrendering more? I find myself surrendering more. I just like, God, if this is the time, then it's the time. Like, I feel like I'm not putting that much pressure on myself anymore.
I feel like I need to surrender. I pulled up the surrender card last night. I need to surrender. I don't think this is me surrendering. Mm-hmm. I think it's me putting up a wall, maybe. Mm-hmm. Kind of checking out.
Speaking of walls, me and Danielle will be back to talk about boundaries and walls. Boundaries versus walls for another later episode in the season. What do you mean putting up a wall, though? Just like not wanting to deal with it?
Yeah.
Because of the hurt, going back to the hurt.
Yeah. Like, dang, this is disappointing. Or even, again, the perfectionism. Oh, I didn't do anything right. I didn't save enough money. Oh, I've been trying to, like, it just comes back to all of that. Mm-hmm. Being good enough, right? I didn't do what I was supposed to do, so I didn't get what I wanted.
But why blame yourself? Like, maybe it just wasn't the right time. Like, why is it like you didn't do what you were supposed to do? Maybe you weren't supposed to do it because it wasn't the right time.
That sounds amazing. That sounds very beautiful. However, in the moment, that's not what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
When I'm grounded, I can do that. But when I'm in it, I don't go there.
Yeah, it is hard to do that. And one of my sticky notes that's on my wall in my bedroom is reframe, because I constantly have to remind myself to reframe my thoughts. Like, we have an opportunity every day to either look at it like, oh, I messed this up, or I did bad, or like, this was a lesson. What did I learn from this? Like, you have an opportunity to reframe your thoughts. And so
when I got there, right, I was like, okay, it just wasn't the time for me. And I have this business idea, and so I'm like, okay, well, maybe a house or whatever I need needs to be business related. And so I was like, okay, cool. I ain't did nothing. I haven't done thing. Let me not say that. I feel like I have been investing in myself these last few months, and I'm getting to a point of doing the things. So believing is hard. Yes, I believe, but the hard part is like the action. Mm-hmm. I believe it, but now you want me to like really show you I believe it because I got to do it. Mm-hmm. Okay, ooh, that's gonna take another part of me to put myself out there again. Going back to the hurt, really for me.
It's really like you're trying to protect yourself at the end of the day. Yeah, you're trying to protect yourself from the hurt you've already experienced. Yeah. So
protective mode.
What?
I said protective mode, huh?
Oh, protective mode, yeah. So with that, I guess, how do we do it? Like,
I think it's just a choice.
It's just a choice.
I think it's just a choice to wake up, to choose, I'm going to do one action item towards this. Because most times we look at the whole goal and we see this big picture and we're like, oh my goodness.
It can be very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you want me to do what? And it's like really choosing to do something, right? Choosing to say, I know timelines don't work for me. So I'm not going to tell myself, oh, in 6 months, I'm going to have this done. I'm just going to wake up and choose and say, okay, what can I do today? Mm-hmm. Or what's in my spirit today? What am I being led to do, right? That intuition, following the intuition, tapping into that. What is coming up for me and what do I need to do? Okay. I did this free workshop. Okay. I wrote a mission statement. Okay. I joined this seminar to learn how to do a business plan. Okay. I already scheduled that. Like intentionally making steps to where I'm piecing it together little by little. So I'm not overwhelmed. And that's less space for second guessing myself and shutting down and going into protecting myself from the possible hurt and all the things that we do, right? I'm able to reframe the situation honestly and say, okay, Danielle, day by day, moment by moment, and that's part of surrendering, right? We're talking about surrendering, surrendering to trying to control the narrative, control the timeline, control when it happens. I'm kind of surrendering in that space of, okay, making a choice. What can I do today? And just staying there. And that doesn't mean you forget your goals. That doesn't mean forget what you want to do, but you also can't carry that every single day because then you won't do it.
Right. And I was just going to say, it's easier said than done too. And I think it goes back to just being intentional every single day. Grounded every single day. I think you have to start with those pieces. And I'm gonna lay in the bed. I'm gonna, affirm myself and be grounded, because in days that I do that, I'm led in a way that I'm not in other days. And so, for example, when I was thinking about bringing the True Life of Courtney back, I felt a lot of pressure. Like, I got to create videos. I got to get questions together. I got to do this. I got to do that. And I would often find myself, like, if I spend the morning grounding, I'll get a text from a friend or something that's like, hey, I want to talk about this topic. And so I know where to focus my attention, for the day. So I feel like Spirit will send little signs, or I'm strolling through Instagram and something comes up about like believing in yourself. And I was like, that's the content, and I can, use that to focus my attention for the day. So I feel like when you are intentional and you become grounded, Spirit will send you little things.
That's surrendering, releasing control also, right? Because it's going to come, what I say, what you know, it's in you.
Yeah.
It's in you.
Yeah.
You just got to be quiet enough to hear it.
Quiet enough to hear it. That's something that I just keep coming up. Like, I just learned to be quiet.
Yeah.
Like, I literally just learned to be quiet maybe like a year and a half ago. And I was like, dang, I've been missing out.
Yeah. What did we just say? We like, I like sitting in silence. But it's such a difference. Like, the quiet and sitting, like, it's deeper. It's not just like, let me just sit here with nothing on. What are you doing in that space? The self-reflection becoming self-aware, grounding in those things, setting your intentions are what you do in the silence. And then you're able to hear everything else.
Right. I was talking to one of my good friends. She was asking me, like, how do you meditate? And her reason for asking, because she's like, when I sit down to meditate, my mind be everywhere. I was like, are you intentional about the meditation? Like, you have to sit down with a purpose. Like, what do you want out of this moment? Like, are you just sitting here, just sitting there, or what do you want out of it? And I think
that's also like a misconception, though, is that when you meditate, that your mind is going to go blank.
What do you mean?
Not what it, like when you sit down and meditate, you think, like she said, like I have all these thoughts, my mind just wanders. When you sit down and meditate, your mind isn't going to shut off. It's about being able to come back to the present moment. Every time your mind wanders, feeling your butt on the seat, or your feet in the ground or in the grass, or whatever is connecting to nature, connecting to solid grounding, right? And then that you come back to that, and then the more you do it, the less your thoughts ramble and come into that space.
True. I also explore why my mind is drifting too. I often like sit down and reflect, like, okay, I was trying to meditate and then I start thinking about this. Why is this on my mind? You know, why is, is spirit trying to tell me something, or is this something I need to explore? Things of that nature.
Yeah, that's important also.
Yeah.
I think that's important for a more seasoned, I guess, meditator. I don't know. A beginner, you just need to come back to the present, come back to the sound, to the music, to the feel, the five senses, touch into that.
The other piece that I kind of wanted to talk about in this conversation is the role comparison plays with believing in yourself. I feel like comparison, it gets me all the time. Comparing myself to other people, how other people do it, versus how I do it. How has your walk with comparison been? And
comparison. I don't know if comparison comes up for me as much. Because again, I'm my biggest critique. Like it's me that I'm like, I have a picture in my mind and I need to match that picture. And if I don't, then like I'm comparing to the picture in my head versus the people around me
on the outside. I guess for me, so I have a cookie business. So I make decorative cookies, and people will send me like pictures of what they want their cookies to look like. And so I find myself all the time beating myself up. And like even today, last night, I was doing an order and I was like, you know what? I am not doing this anymore. I'm not good enough. I can't, decorate them good enough. Like I really had a moment last night. I was like, this is too much. And it's that spirit of comparison, because I'm comparing my work to other people's work. And then I took them to the shower and everybody was like, oh, these are so cute. And I was like, oh, I gotta stop being so hard on myself. Like the spirit
of Instagram where it say like what I ordered versus what I got, but it still looks the same, but it's different because it's different people. Like that's what it is. It's because it's Courtney. It's not whoever it is, but it's not going to be identical.
Yeah. It's about really appreciating my gift. Like I can't do it like anybody else. I can only do it like Courtney, and I have to give myself permission to do it like Courtney. And I think that's where I struggle a lot with believing in myself as it relates to my cookie business.
I don't think, again, most of the things that we're discussing, I've felt or experienced more so in the last 2 years than my whole life. So I don't have much to say about comparison. Again, as you have noted in the beginning, I just show up. I don't know.
You are your authentic self. And now that I think of it, like she probably doesn't compare herself to anybody. Danielle is gonna be Danielle, and it is what it is. Yeah.
And if I do, it's like little slight where it doesn't stick. It's not. No, I think I'm again in the last 2 years. So like with the sound, I may have done it the most being in the academy. Like, oh, how am I doing it? Like, oh, I'm just starting. Even with going live, like I haven't gone live that much, but it's a goal. Like I'm gonna go live more. But that's not more so about comparison. That's just honoring my voice. And like I said, I began to second guess myself more so in the last few years of like questioning how I'm showing up in spaces. But that's protection. Like I don't want to be hurt or, not judge. I just don't want to be hurt. Not even judgment. Like whatever.
How did you get to this point of self-awareness? Because I think that's big.
Child, shout out to my therapist, okay? I don't even know. I can't even give her all the credit though, because I go to therapy. She's like, I just love when you come meet with me because you already know. I value it. And so
we are therapists. Like this is our training. This is our life. This is what we were created to do. We're healers.
Yeah, but I can't even say that it's all the way that. Like that has something to do with it, but I think I choose it. Like I value it. And that's what led me to being a therapist, probably because it's something that I value. Like I've always journaled. I've always like started writing poems and all the things. Like though acknowledging my feelings, like writing it out is what helped me become self-aware. Like my therapy journey started way before I became a therapist. I was a sophomore in college and I went to therapy.
Same for me.
Yeah. So like it wasn't.
I was a freshman in college though.
It wasn't, oh, I'm a therapist now, let me believe in all these things. Like this is me at heart. Like I just told somebody that this is what I do, but it's also who I am. And that's why I do it, because it was already in me. I didn't choose to be a therapist and a social worker. Like I was nowhere. I was going to law school, okay? I was nowhere on my radar. I was going to law school and I was like, oh, what's this? So it's just me, and I choose every day to continue to be aware. I'm choosing, okay, oh, I'm not on my therapist's books. Let me get on her books. Oh, I haven't journaled. Oh, I need to cry. What's coming up for me? Let me sit. And I don't all the time want to, right? Someday, just a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh, I just really don't want to sit with this. I'm not ready to feel, I don't want to talk about it because I knew what it was going to do to me, but I didn't want to do it yet. But eventually I sat down in my closet because that is my safe space and journaled and wrote and just sat there and laid in the floor and just let it come to me. That's just really how I become self-aware. Again, most things I just do. I don't know.
Because it comes to you naturally. And I guess I asked the question because in reality, like we just said it, you said it's not what I said, but I think it is exactly what I said. It's just who we are. Like, this is why it comes natural to us. But in reality, it doesn't come natural to everybody.
No.
It doesn't. And
that's why I'm in the profession that I'm in, right? Because they need somebody.
And so I guess that's the answer to my question. So what do you recommend for those people that this just doesn't come natural to? Therapy?
When you're ready, you're ready. Because I don't want you to come sit on my couch if you're not ready. Like I want to attract people who want to do the work. So when you're ready, you're going to be ready. Because I can't sit here and say, hey, do this, this, and this. If you're not ready to figure out what's there, where it's coming from, connect the dots on what you did when you were 5 and what you did when you were 15 and who was around and what. If you're not ready for all that, that's okay. It's no judgment. When you're ready, you'll be ready. Hopefully it's before the marriage and the kids and all the things so that you don't have unhealthy relationships and continue generational patterns of unhealthy relationships, but when you're ready, you're ready.
When you're ready, you're ready.
If you're interested or intrigued about starting, just look into healthy coping, meditate, journal, find a therapist, go sit in nature. Take 5 minutes in the morning before you start your day to just sit in the bed in silence. Let's say 3 to 5, for beginners. 3 to 5, sit in the bed by yourself before you turn the music, before the social media, before the breakfast and all the things. Take a shower in the
dark. Whatever works for you. just start trying stuff and see what works.
Right, because each person is different. Like my
Yeah.
blueprint isn't gonna fit for you. Courtney's blueprint isn't gonna fit for you. So it just
Right.
depends on if you're ready. Just start trying things. A therapist can help you. A life coach in the area you're looking for can help you. You know, you can follow me as community cultivator. I am in the process of possibly becoming a coach also. So you know,
Uh-huh.
I
All
might can
good.
help you either way.
Um, so I think just kind of reflecting back in this conversation with believing is hard. I think one of the things that we have like kind of highlighted that believing in ourselves is hard, but I feel like we both are saying it starts with like a level of understanding yourself. Like you have to know who you are in order to believe in yourself. Do you believe that?
You have to know who you are.
I don't feel, well, you don't have to fully know, but you have to have some level of self-awareness or be in the process of self-awareness to truly believe in yourself. You got to know who you are, or you got to at least be on the path to knowing.
I'm processing. You have to know.
I see you looking like, oh, no.
I'm processing it because I don't know. Like, even when you start with sticky notes, right? You don't automatically believe the sticky note that reframe or, you know, energy is your gift. You have to say these things to yourself in order to build it. But that doesn't mean that I mean, some people could know themselves. Not everybody does, though. I don't know. It's just everybody's so different. So
I shouldn't make general statements.
Yeah, try not to
don't make
generalize
general.
it also. Because, you know, for me, I know, so I can believe. For others, they believe, so then they know. And I don't know.
You're right. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, yeah, I should make that general statement.
Just be intentional about what you do, and whatever you choose, stand in it. I mean, we all have different choices. There are different paths, lead us different ways. Just, I would say, start with exploring your values. What do you value? Are they the same as when you were a little girl or little person, or are they different as an adult? Are they different from your families? Are they the same as your families? And then kind of just see what comes up for you, and then move in your values every day. If you value, like for us, we value healing, right? We value self-awareness. So I'm intentional about those things.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't value that, you're not going to be intentional about it.
Mm-hmm. So what do you value? That's y'all's homework, y'all journal prompt homework for the listeners. What do you value? Okay, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, definitely get your list. Get your list. You can even Google a list of values and write them 1 to 10, or you can just write them out.
Yeah.
My top are, you know, emotional intelligence. That's the top one for me. I value space. I value emotions. I value love. I value friendship. Like, those are things I value.
Mm-hmm. Same. Family. In addition to that, I definitely value family. I feel like you covered the main things. I feel like we be on the same page.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to go back to the T.
Okay.
It says the world needs your unique gifts. Don't leave with them still in you. So the second piece of that is like, what are you doing to not leave with your gifts still in you?
I'm here.
Here, like just existing?
No, like here on this.
That's my answer too. True life conversations. Like, this is my way to make sure that my gift is no longer inside of me.
And then in this season of my life, I'm being really intentional on honoring my voice, utilizing and expressing myself in whatever ways that may be. So sound to me is creative, right? It's healing, it's vulnerable. Because most times, even if, as you all saw, like in the end, I tell you why I played what bowls I played. And so I have to tap into like my intuition and what's coming up for me and what I'm being told and feeling that you need to hear. And most times, sometimes I don't know what I'm saying. It just comes up. Sometimes I do know what I want to say. And so just honoring my voice and showing up in spaces that allow me to do so. Is really how I am sharing my gifts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also not putting myself in a box. So I'm also working on being less restrictive.
I'm working on that too.
Yeah. And so it doesn't have to happen a certain way. Like it's let it flow, let it flow, let it flow.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like going back and forth in my head if I even want to go here.
Okay. Of how you feeling your gifts?
Huh?
To answer the question?
Yeah. Like as it relates to believing in myself, and making sure that I don't leave with it in me. I feel like I have been getting some of my gifts out of me, but I still am like afraid to put it out there.
Same.
If that makes sense. I think that's one of my biggest struggles is like I create the content or I, say what I gotta say and then it goes nowhere after that. And so I guess if I had to challenge myself, that's where I want to challenge myself in the next 2 months, I would say, just being a little more intentional about just putting my gifts out there. Freely.
But I will also challenge you to show yourself grace because you said you've been doing the content. So if it's recorded, all you gotta do is upload it. Like I said,
it's uploaded. I just haven't shared. Like nobody knows that I'm uploading it. That's the thing for me.
You just gotta click a button, right? And so that's what I was saying. Like every day is just making a choice of what can I do to. And so it may work for you, but the timeline, even you saying 2 months, like that gave me anxiety. Like no, because I'm not working on timelines because it's not productive for me. It may be productive for you, so keep a timeline if that works. But just every day, you may just wake up, and you may hit open or release or whatever the button says, and go about your day because you already have been intentional about creating the content. You've already been intentional about rebranding, renaming, redecorating, doing all the things. Like you have done the lead work, you have been intentional about that. And so to say that you are not sharing your gifts, you are one step closer than you were yesterday. You're one step closer than you were 2 years ago. And so why would you tell yourself you're not doing right? You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, or you're not doing enough when I did more than I did yesterday. So that is enough. And tomorrow I'm going to be intentional about doing this.
Y'all see why Danielle, my friend, I be needing her to give me these pep talks. She comes through. Everybody need a Danielle in their life. I say it all the time. I truly appreciate this friendship because, man, you've helped me get through a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
Really?
A lot of stuff. Yes.
I need to, okay. I received. I'm trying to be more intentional on receiving.
Oh.
Because like I also say, I just do stuff. Like I just be talking.
You just you. So and it works.
I'm trying to also be intentional on receiving these things of when people, want to give me my flowers. And so I receive.
I'm glad you do. You are truly a gift. And so tell the people where they can find you on Instagram again. She's also a therapist, but you have to be licensed in the state. So tell them all that stuff. So if they in North Carolina.
So if you're in North Carolina, well, Charlotte to be exact. Well, North Carolina, because I do virtual still. You can find me on Psychology Today. If you're in the Charlotte area, you can find me on buildingendurancepllc.com. If you're interested in holistic healing, you can find me on Instagram, Community Cultivator. My prices are there for private sound sessions. You can catch snippets of me going live, because I have gone live, just not as often as I planned on it. But it's in the works. Those are my platforms as of now. Might have some more to come soon.
And I'll put all this information in the description box. So check out the description box to see where you can find Danielle. And I guess lastly, let's do a call to action. I don't know, some encouragement, a moment of truth for people who are having trouble believing in themselves. What would you say to them? And I feel like we're gonna say the same thing, so I'm gonna just let you say it.
Moment of truth for people struggling to believe in themselves. Feel what you feel. Allow it to come, allow it to flow. And then once it does flow, really reflect on it, on where it's coming from, why it's there, and use that to encourage and empower you versus holding you back and restricting you. You're not alone. Mm-hmm. We all struggle with it in some ways, as you have noticed in this conversation. Courtney and I most times are like in the same place, but on opposite ends
of it. Yeah. and if you're into astrology, so I am a Cancer Sun, Aries Moon. She is a Aries Sun, Cancer Moon.
Yes. And so very opposite. Fire and water. Yeah. And so just know that you're not alone, and it looks different for each person. So when the spirit of comparison does come up for you, just reframe that thought and remind yourself that you are unique. You are a gift. Your gift is not like anyone else's. We're all here for a purpose. And so just tap into that.
Yeah. Awesome. You basically said it. The only other thing I was thinking is just give yourself grace. We got to do better with giving ourselves grace. Like, stop being hard on yourself. We're all in this. We're all trying to figure it out. Like, just give yourself grace. Like, believing in yourself is hard.
Soapbox about that, though, because that another conversation, tune in, because that's about being a strong Black woman, right? We're not taught to do that as Black women. So that's a whole nother thing.
Say it for a little bit, though. Elaborate on it just a second. I don't even know the time. We just been talking. So the strong
I'm not going to elaborate. I'm just going to say being a strong Black woman is a trauma.
It is a trauma.
It's a trauma. It's a trauma. And you don't have to be. You deserve luxury. You deserve ease. You deserve peace. You deserve to live your truth, to be your most authentic self. And you don't have to always fight to have that. And we are not taught that.
We're recording that.
So when you are showing yourself grace, that doesn't come easily to you. But that's what that means. You don't have to be all the things to everybody. Be selfish. It's okay. Mm-hmm. Tap into yourself. Sit, ground with yourself. Tap into, become your self-awareness, your intellect, your intuition. Tap into all of that. And then, let it lead the way.
Yes. Awesome. So thank you guys for tuning in to True Life Conversations. I hope that this conversation was healing. I hope that it created some topics for you to reflect on. I hope that it leads to growth. I hope that it leads to you being able to believe in yourself and walk in your truth and birth all the things that is on the inside of you that's ready to be birthed. Know that this process, it's a journey. Mm-hmm. It is a journey in believing in yourself, and just be kind to yourself along the process. We're gonna get there. we will get there. Wherever it is that you're trying to go, we will get there. Okay.
And we're there with you. Us being on this screen is both of us walking in our purpose and our truth and all the things that we're telling you to do. We are in this moment practicing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo. Yes. Give yourself credit for that. In this moment of practicing it.
Yes.
And it's not easy. Like I was having a whole anxiety moment before we started. So, yeah.
Honestly, life was lifing, but I probably was having one of why it took so long to get here anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I ain't even gonna go there, but yeah. All right. So until next time, thank you guys for tuning in.